Welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Nomadic Spring Quarter Box. I love getting the Nomadic monthly boxes in the mail, but this is my first quarterly box and I am pretty darn excited about this. This is $150 and it's valued at over $200. This is the Spring Shelter Box. If you are already a monthly subscriber of Nomadic, you do not have to worry about getting just duplicate items in here. This is completely independent of the monthly subscription. The quarterly boxes are also seasonal, so everything in here is going to be pertinent to the spring, and I cannot wait for spring weather. Let's pop it open and see what we have. Now, the first thing I'm going to be looking for is the pamphlet. So here's a peek at what I'm seeing, and I am pretty darn impressed already. I'm going to set this down and just start going through it. There's a couple things that I just cannot wait to get out of here. So inside every Nomadic box, you're going to get a pamphlet. When I popped that open, I got a little excited, so I didn't really see the pamphlet. I really wasn't looking for it. But inside this, it's going to go over all the items that are included in the box. There's tips, there's Nomadic challenges, and there's brand discounts as well. So first thing out of the box, and this is the first thing that caught my eye when I cracked that box open, and I was really excited to see it. This is the Silky Pocket Boy. So I've got a couple Silky saws. I carry the big boy, so it's like a 19-20-inch firewood size saw. This little guy here, this is nothing I've got, and I don't have anything even like this. So they come with a hard case. Being a bushcrafter myself, this thing's perfect. You're not going to choose this tool to go out there and cut a cord of firewood, but for a shelter or for any type of crafting, this is absolutely perfect. So the Silkies all have a lanyard hole with a rubberized grip, and there's a 2-position lock on this. So this is the one I traditionally use, but if you're in a spot where you're going to hit your knuckles, there's a second position that locks it back and kind of hooks your hand a little bit higher. So this is something that I could make a little belt pouch for this and carry this almost like a belt knife. I could carry this in my pocket when I'm just out for quick crafting, but I absolutely love this thing. Next out of the box is an Exploria tarp shelter. So this has 9 different tie-out points. This is under 10 feet. It's about 9'8" by about 9'6". So this should definitely be the core of any outdoor kit. You look at the size of this for what it is. I can set this up for rain shelter. I can set this up for sun shelter. Being a 10-foot tarp like this, I could set this on a diagonal and cover any hammock out there. I can make a tent. There is all kinds of shelter configurations with this. We'll revisit this tarp and I'll show you some of my favorite ways to set up a square shelter like this in a series of short videos. Next, I have a Landerkarn mini lantern. So this LED lantern is 150 lumens. It's waterproof. It runs for 100 hours. I can also dim this and set this up as a strobe. The fact that I can dim it makes it that much more useful around camp. Now, I've got a tether system as well on here. So if I set up that tarp shelter in a tent, or if I have a hammock set up, I'm able to secure this to my ridgeline, and then I can give the light some direction. So I'm going to be able to cook. I'm going to be able to read at night in a hammock. I'm going to be able to look at maps and check tomorrow's travel. I really like this. Next up is an Alps Mountaineering tri-leg stool. The stool holds 250 pounds. This weighs about 2 pounds. And it's about 16 inches long. So if you're carrying a tent at all with poles, most of those are around the 16-inch range, 16 to 18. So if you're carrying a tent, you're going to be able to carry this thing as well. If you get a Nomadic box, you know you're going to be getting a cool sticker as well. So I really like the picture, I like the color, but I really like the size on this. There just seems to be a standard size round sticker. I don't know if that's 2.5, 3 inches, but this is a little bit smaller, so you can kind of place this where other stickers wouldn't necessarily fit. Next up, I have some Yuko storm matches. And this actually has a waterproof, crush-proof case with the matches. Now, I have a couple of these actually. I really like the Yuko storm matches, and I carry them with me. And most of the cases that I find are orange. So this is actually a good change of pace for me. If you were concerned with high visibility, you could wrap a little bit of tape around the cap. You could put some high-vis paracord around that as well. But this should be in any person's fire kit that spends any time in the wilderness. So I've got a couple more items in the box, and both of them are from Gearaid. This first one is a taunt line kit. So a taunt ridgeline is going to be the core component of any shelter, any camp really. If I've got anything that's wet or anything I just need to air out, the first thing I'm doing is I'm setting up a ridgeline. So this is a reflective 550 paracord, and I've got a couple of tensioning devices here. Looks like I got 4 of them. Now these work in a figure 8 pattern, so there's no knots to remember. I will be going over this independently of the shelter video, so I'll probably use this, set up that shelter, but a ridgeline like this is just handy even if you were tent camping and didn't plan on flying a tarp. And last thing up is a camp carabiner. So this one's also from Gearaid, and remember I just said how I like to hang things up. It keeps your camp that much neater. You don't have to go around looking for things because everything's right in front of you. Well, this has a clip that actually snaps on to a ridgeline. So even if you didn't use that taunt line kit, if you were just using a normal paracord ridgeline, this would work. But it's going to work out a whole lot better with that taunt line kit because I know everybody's ridgeline is going to be just as tight as they need it to be. So with this, I'm able to slide it up and down the length of the ridgeline. So if I have to change my shelter configuration, I can just slide this to an unused portion of the line. And then I've got a clip here as well. So this is going to work really well with heavier items. I would probably go with my backpack on this most of the time. So I would say to carry this thing, if I did not make a dedicated line bag that had my taunt line kit and this camp carabiner on it, I could just clip this right to my bag, right to whatever item I planned on suspending. Then I don't even have to look for it. I can just pick it up, put it on my ridgeline, give it a twist, and it's going to lock in. So this is going to work for dry bags. You could hang lanterns, you could hang speakers, you could hang water bottles. If you're a hammock camper like me, or once you get used to flying a tarp to get out of the weather, you will be reaching for things hanging from your ridgeline more often than not. So if this is the kind of thing you like, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment in the comment box, and ring the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at burningriverbushcraft. I also teach outdoor classes at outdoorcore.com. So if you're looking at all the items that I pulled out of that box and you're thinking that's a heck of a deal for 150 bucks, I'm a Nomadic affiliate. So go ahead and use my affiliate link. I'm going to leave it down in the description box. Head over there and check them out. So this is my first quarterly box, and I tell you, I am pretty impressed with it. I love that it's a system and everything goes together. Springtime is when everybody should be dusting off their camping gear and going out there and spending more time outdoors. With a tarp shelter like this, this should be the core part of any of your hiking kits, any of your backpacking kits, any survival kit. Your shelter element is kind of a key thing to have. And having it is great, but having something that's multifunctional like this and owning it, knowing how to set up all the different configurations. We're going to be going over a lot of my favorite configurations in a series of shorts. So make sure you subscribe to check those out. And all this stuff kind of works together. That's probably the best thing. Without setting up a ridgeline, you're going to have a hard time setting up a tarp. There are configurations you can make it work. I could spend time showing you all the knots required to set up a taunt ridgeline, or you can just carry a ridgeline kit like this, and you've got your tensioning devices on it. You've got a nice size ridgeline. I love the fact that it's reflective as well. That does help find your way back to camp again. With this camp carabiner, it's going to make it that much easier to keep all your gear supported up off the ground. So when you configure this into some of the tighter tent configurations, a light like this is going to be making camp time that much more enjoyable. You know what else makes camp life really enjoyable is building a campfire and sitting around it. So with this thing, you're not going to have to worry about sitting in the mud or finding a dry log. A 2-pound stool like this is going to fit in nearly any bag. You're not going to know it's there until you need it. And with these stormproof matches and this Silky saw, I guarantee that you're going to be able to find dry wood and you're going to be able to make a fire. So great job, Nomadic, on that spring shelter box. Really unique items. I've never seen some of those things before. Other things I've used or used variations of, and I've had nothing but positive experiences with them in the past. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.